Okay, let's see if I can get this one right. What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and are you ready to set some intentions this week? See what's going on here, because we got some pretty impactful transits. It's a lighter one, but I think a lot too that we're going to be thinking about, because we got a lunar eclipse that's going to be happening, but also Mercury. Good old Mercury's going to be stationed in retrograde, and who doesn't love a Mercury retrograde? Probably those of you who have Mercury retrograde in your chart, you're probably like, yeah, boy. But then we also have the sun that is forming a conjunction with the North Node, and really feeling if we're on our right path, feeling if things are in alignment. But we'll get into all that here in a moment. But if you're new here, again, my name is Justin, and one of the things I do on this channel is talk about the Celestial News Weekly, the chit chat that's going on up in the heavens. And I'm going to be covering the week of March 13th through the 19th, and let's get into it. Because on Jupiter Day, the 13th of March, we're going to be having a total lunar eclipse in Virgo, and that's going to be happening at 11:59 p.m., and that's going to be Pacific time. Now, I'm not going to go too much into it. I just wanted to mention that we're going to be having one, just because there's a mention of lunar imagery in one of the Sabian symbols we're going to be talking about today, which I found really fascinating. But if you want to look into this more, you can go down to my other channel, the Chariot and Friends, and I go over the eclipse way more thoroughly. I have a chart for it and everything, and even some extra reading stuff there. So definitely check it out there if you want to go more into that. But let's talk about that. But I just wanted to put that on your radar, that our eclipse is going to be happening on that Jupiter day. So definitely pay attention to it there. But then let's get into Venus Day. That's going to be the 14th of March. And at about 11:47 p.m., Mercury's going to retrograde at about 9 degrees and 35 minutes of Aries. Now, Mercury's going to go from 9 degrees 35 minutes to about 26 degrees and 49 minutes of Pisces. So if you have any planets or point in between those lines, this is going to be working with you more personally. And especially if you have anything at about 9 degrees of Aries on either side, I'd say 8 or 7 degrees. You can depend on the size of the orb that you like to work with. But if you have any in that, or even of the cardinal signs, that's going to be a pretty sensitive point. Mercury moves really fast, but it's going to be staying at 9 degrees for about 5 days, which may not seem like a long time, but for Mercury, that's, like he done fell asleep. But the point of the retrogrades, yes, there can maybe be some delays, especially in Aries. I remember when Mercury went into Aries last year, and the date of we were going to go on a trip, and the ferry that we were going to go on was canceled, and so we had to wait till the next one wasn't until like 2-3 hours later. So it's like, well, there's that. Looks like we're going to the park. But you may notice that there may be some travel delays and things, and I would just exercise make some extra space for time, especially if you know that tends to be a lot of traffic delays. It may even exacerbate more. So their construction just pops up out of nowhere. They're always fixing something. So that's just some general things to look for in a Mercury retrograde. But it is a time to slow down, especially I think while these take this week. Let me see the degrees or the dates that Mercury's going to be there. And keep in mind, this book that I'm reading from, it's from the universal time. So it's got to be something you'll have to adjust to your time zone here. But it's going to be from midnight. And so it'll be from 9 degrees on the 13th of March until about the 18th of March. So just kind of pay attention to those days and just schedule some extra time there. But this is a time to just review these sections, not just what's going on in the world, but also this is a time to review the whatever themes that are coming up for you, whatever houses Mercury's getting ready to pass through. We're reviewing things right now. We're making some adjustments. This doesn't mean that everything just comes apart. For example, I have a Leo rising, and I've been going through quite a bit of ninth house things. There's Venus is retrograding in, and this is another thing too. Venus is retrograde in the same house and is going over similar territory. So there's going to be a lot of emphasis, like if there was on like my spirituality, as far as like how have I been doing my faith and what like faith in action looks like. And then going over into the ninth house, then it's looking like, okay, how have I been sharing my resources? How can I be maybe investing more in my skills here, invest more, maybe even my spiritual practices, things along those lines. And it's just like kind of a reallocation there. So those would be just like some loose examples of what that could look like. But this could be going through your finance house and your house of self. Maybe you're thinking like, okay, I want to be in this, I want to feel this level of security, so I'm going to make these adjustments here in my finances, whatever that's looking like. But I thought this Sabian symbol was really fascinating for the degree that Mercury is going to be, that's going to be staying at for a while, that 9 degrees there. And it's phase 10 of Aries, and it talks about a teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images. And the keynote for this is revision of attitude at the beginning of a new cycle of experience. And so it already talks about this energy of looking back. Like I had talked about that a retrograde is about revising things and coming at it with a fresh view. And I think that I like that idea of a teacher giving new symbolic forms, because this could be even like rewriting a narrative. Maybe you were seeing a situation as one thing, and maybe you look back and that's like, you know what, this actually was for my benefit, as opposed to seeming like a just a hindrance at the time. Like when I think about I have a 12th house sun, the north south nodes there, and I think about some of the things that have come up in my life, and they used to make me feel some type of way. And then as you start to just grow in the experience and start thinking about them differently, they start telling a different story. The past becomes not something you're stuck in, but it becomes something that can empower you. You let it become a new symbol. Let it be something that if I can rise through this, I can rise through anything, whatever that looks like. It's the same cycles, it's just things, the images may change, but the scenarios are similar. It's things that we've experienced before, maybe in some capacity. So I think that there's something there that's very deep to look at in this Mercury retrograde here, especially when we have Mercury and Venus going over very similar territories. So just something to think about there. But let's talk about the last transit here, because that's going to happen on a moon day, and that'll be on the 17th of March. And at about 11:03 a.m., the sun is going to form a conjunction with the North Node at 27 degrees and 23 minutes of Pisces. Now, when you're thinking about the sun, this is, especially in Pisces, Pisces is one that is, they're the mutable water sign, very spiritual, have a very, almost a porous-like energy, because of the water signs, they're the signs that are just completely submerged in the water. So there is a sensitivity there. So there's a deep connection, an open channel to source when the sun is in Pisces. And this is really, when you talk about the conjunction, that's when the planets are fusing with one another there. And the North Node is not a planet. The North Node is considered, you may hear referred to as the dragon's head or Rahu. And the North Node is where you're going. This is the area where, I like to think of it as an area that is, wherever house is transiting through, is an area that's needing mastery, that's wanting to get things together, so that you can feel stronger in. But the thing with the North Node, that it's always in conversation with the South Node, which is where you've been. And this is a place where you can get wisdom and you can get a lot of nuggets, because you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. So that's why they work together here. So whenever there's a transit with one, or an aspect with one, there's an aspect with the other one there. But when we're talking about a conjunction with the North Node, this is an invitation of going in a new direction. This could be seen, let's say back to, like, okay, if you have a Leo rising, this is happening on our financial axis, the 8th house and the 2nd house. So this could be where maybe you're looking to take care of some debts. Maybe that's something that's resonating, or maybe you're thinking about, okay, I've saved up this money so that I can invest in this thing here, or maybe there's a balance that's needing to be adjusted in your shared resources. That might be something that maybe you've noticed that there's not been an equal give and take there, and there's just that sort of conversation is needing to be happening there. But The sun, thinking about the north node, is just like, am I in alignment? Do I, in with Pisces, do I feel in alignment? And if you're not, if you're feeling like an area is off, this can be an invitation where you sit with spirit and you just ask, like, okay, what do I need to do to move through this? And allow yourself that quiet space. You know, maybe do some journaling. Maybe this is listening to some music. Maybe lighting some incense. Maybe this is could be getting by some water, or maybe just like taking a bath or something like that can maybe even help. Getting maybe some, just like submersing your hands and soaking your feet. You know, Pisces is associated with the feet, so maybe even doing something with your feet, getting a massage. Something like that can maybe even help inspire some sort of insights there. But I thought the saving symbol was very fascinating for this one, and I think that this is going to really tie in with the eclipse, because the on a base level, the lunar eclipse is that we're letting something go. Something has come to a completion there and is coming to an ending. This could be like quitting a habit, maybe ending a relationship. Maybe this could be leaving a group. Maybe this is, you know, whatever this thing may be, but the interesting thing about this is that the saving symbol for this is phase 358 of Pisces, which talks about a fertile garden under the full moon reveals a variety of full-grown vegetables. So I thought that was just, there's something there, considering that we just would have had the total full moon eclipse, and then the saving symbol is talking about eclipse a few days later. And so then this keynote talks about the full satisfaction of the individual's basic needs. And this, to me, is looking at what is getting in control, or maybe getting in the way of your abundance. You know, if we're looking at the south node, the sun is opposing that south node. So we're seeing things that haven't been working in our life. You know, maybe this is spending habits. Maybe this is how we've treated ourselves. Maybe this is how we've been dealing with the depression, the darker things. Maybe this is, but again, career. But this is something where we're looking at this thing, and it's just like, now this is this serving me a purpose, or is it time to, can I repurpose this, or do I need to recycle this? You know, that's what this energy is happening with Virgo. And now it's time to go forward in a different direction. Imagine something newer for yourself, where your needs are more being fulfilled there. Maybe you've been denying yourself something, or thinking that you can't have something there. But if we do just like some shifts and things, some minor shifts there, or shift there, you can have this, whatever this basic need is. So this full moon, I think, is something that can reveals that, in this conjunction, can reveal that you can have more and want more for yourself, and can get more for yourself than maybe you might give credit for. But there's might be something that's impeding that process, and that's where I think this you'll see what that thing is. Maybe with the sun opposing the south node, and just stuff will start making sense. So I would say pay attention to anything that comes up during this retrograde period, anything that comes up during this full moon. There's not a lot of signals, but very big indicators that, hey, a change is at order here, where we're getting into a new cycle, like it was even talking about in the saving symbol for Mercury there. It's a time to think in a different type of way here. So just some things to think about. Yeah, hopefully that made sense there. But yeah, if you like that, and you want to work more personally with the stuff here and get just more familiar, you can see what houses these are transiting through for you, or even just like working with your solar return chart, lunar return chart. Maybe we do a tarot, I Ching reading, whatever that looks like. Down in the description box, there's a link for my email there, and we can discuss the services that I provide, and just form a relationship and go from there. Changing, rethinking things, growing through things. It's fantastic. But yeah, that's all I got for you there. And definitely check out for the lunar eclipse, check out my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. So, but until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof. And I will catch you on the next one, Mercury Day.